Hello, my name is Sonya Vandergoot. I studied to become an organisational psychologist after initially working as a registered nurse. I became interested in studying organisational psychology because I found that how much you enjoy your work and how motivated you are depends a lot on the organisation you're working in, including your manager and their leadership style, the team you work in, the organisational systems and policies, and its organisational culture. Work as an organisational psychologist is very diverse. For example, my current work involves coaching medical registrars who are preparing for a difficult exam that they must pass to become general practitioners or GPs. These medical registrars have to be highly motivated because the exams are difficult and have a high failure rate, which, as you can imagine, is very stressful. In this video, I would like to talk to you about work-related motivation. Generally, there are two categories of motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic. Extrinsic motivation comes from factors outside yourself, which can be positive, like pay and promotions you receive if you work well, or negative, such as reprimands from your manager if you are very late for work. Intrinsic motivation comes from factors within yourself, such as enjoying learning new skills, or like the medical registrars I coach, the personal satisfaction of medical work that helps people. Motivation is important in the workplace because organisations want to motivate their employees to be productive and make the organisation profitable. However, motivating people at work is not always a simple process, and organisations often fail to motivate their workers as effectively as they could. For example, organisations in Australia are estimated to spend about $9 billion every year on training their employees, but the return on investment is only estimated to be about 10 to 15%, meaning that only a relatively small amount of what is learned in training is transferred to the workplace in terms of improved performance, like higher output, better management, or increased sales. For my PhD research in organisational psychology, I studied the factors that influence the transfer of leadership skills learnt in a training program to their workplace. I found that one of the most important and often neglected factors in enabling training transfer was what the organisation does to motivate staff to transfer and use the new skills they learnt in training when they return to their workplace. I found that extrinsic motivation to transfer and use skills learnt in training was strongly influenced by both the level of manager and team support to use those skills and the opportunities provided in the workplace to practice them. These results suggest that to avoid the poor long-term outcomes of many costly training programs, organisations need to ensure that they provide sufficient management and team support with opportunities to practice and use those skills that they acquired in training programs to help motivate their staff more effectively. After all, it's difficult to stay motivated to use new skills if you are either discouraged to do so or not supported to do so. As an exercise to better understand work motivation, you could interview someone who works, such as a parent, sibling, relative, or friend, someone who's completed work-related training. Although, as I found in my study, individual intrinsic motivation and intention are important in training transfer, you might ask what kind of extrinsic support they receive from their manager and team to apply the skills that they learnt to their workplace and what kinds of opportunities they were provided to use those new skills. I've given you some example questions for your interviews. As an additional or alternative exercise, you might want to consider what intrinsic or extrinsic factors may motivate students in your class to practice skills they will eventually transfer to a future role or workplace. Thank you for listening, and good luck with your studies.